you think that just doing the main movements of the squat, bench press, and deadlift are enough to build all the strength that you need? Well, I'm here to prove that wrong and provide you the top 10 supplemental exercises that are going to improve your overall strength, but more importantly, get your squat, bench press, and deadlift to new heights that you've not seen before. Let's get to it. Hey there, Brandon Spilley here from Thirst Gym, and today I'm going to walk you through my top 10 supplemental exercises to improve the squat, bench press, deadlift, and overall just improve your overall strength. One thing that we know is that while the squat, bench press, and deadlift are fantastic exercises, I don't think anybody's going to argue that, and if you powerlift, you already know that because that's how you compete. But what we don't do is spend enough time on the supplemental exercises, exercises that are going to drive those main three exercises up to new heights, focusing on weak points, building power, building strength where we need it to maximize the progress in those lifts. Don't get me wrong, I think squat, bench press, and deadlift are great. You should be doing them, working on your technique and getting stronger at them. But these 10 exercises are proven to help take those lifts to the next level, so let's get into them. So we're gonna start off with the squatting variations first, and the first one is going to be the front squat. The reason I love the front squat is that majority of people can do this exercise much easier and to a higher degree than the back squat. However, it is going to challenge the upper back, the abdominals. It's going to keep you more vertical. You're going to build some massive quads, and it's going to immediately limit the amount of load that you can do because of that. However, anybody that's front squatted any appreciable amount of weight knows how sore they get in their midsection, around their ribs, their trunk, their lats, their upper back, even their shoulders, holding that into position, because of the way it can develop positional strength. So if you happen to be somebody that's pitching forward in your squat, you're carrying stones, you're doing other things outside of just maybe powerlifting, the front squat is one of those exercises I think you need to be doing. Now, because it is a supplemental exercise, my suggestion here is to do 2 to 3 sets on average of anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions. Use this to acquire some volume, build some strength, be in some tough situations. So for most people, they're gonna go with the crossed arm position here, and then we're gonna walk that barbell out, and we're gonna stay in our normal position. Now you can even do these in a zombie squat if you really wanna make these suck even worse. However, just going with a cross arm position for most people is good enough to be able to accomplish what we want to be able to accomplish. And then we're gonna make sure that our elbows stay up. I kind of shrug up into that barbell. That's gonna keep me in a good position. I don't wanna also stick my butt out first. This is a little bit more knee dominant than our normal back squat. And we're just gonna go down as low as we can and then drive back up. Making sure, again, I'm keeping that load anterior up my throat, and then I'm good to go. So, as I mentioned, because of that load being forward, we're gonna have to stay statically strong there. And that's why I love this exercise to drive up the squat. All right, the next exercise I love here is a classic, and that is the Zercher Squat. Now, the reason I love the Zercher Squat as a supplemental movement is because it's gonna build a stupid strong posterior chain and backside. It's also gonna torch the abdominals. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but I have found that for a majority of people that can do this, it really aids their overall strength development. So this also is gonna improve your deadlift as well, because it's gonna build some stupid strong erectors. So I've got a zigzag bar here. It's much more comfortable because it's fat and it's got this nice camber to it, but a regular barbell works. Put something in your arms if you're really that worried about it. But you're gonna get in a good quality position here, palms towards your face, unrack that barbell, go into that squat stance, bury that sucker, and then come back up. We wanna make sure you're not shrugging too much here, shrugging the bar, but you do wanna make sure it's not pulling you down. You wanna keep that chest tall and proud, reach forward just a little bit. You don't want the barbell away from you, but you don't want to like lean backwards like this to hold the weight. Try to stay everything stacked as much as you can. It's gonna build your back stronger, because this is just gonna put everything into your low back, where this is gonna make your mid and upper back stupid strong, and then you can load that bad boy up and get some lower body strength to it as well. So as a supplemental movement, I like doing these pretty freaking heavy 5 to 8 repetitions for from 2 to 4 sets. Again, you can use this as a way to build your squat, so the posterior side, to stay nice and upright, or you can even use it to build a stupid strong deadlift as well. Exercise number 3 on my list is going to be the good old-fashioned Bulgarian Split Squat, or the rear foot elevated split squat. And while it's not a barbell exercise, it is an exercise that you can push incredibly hard and build a ton of mass on your legs, in particular your quads, your glutes, and your hamstrings. So this exercise can be loaded up with dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells. There's plenty of ways to load it as well. But I don't really know anybody that doesn't hate this exercise. That's because it works really well at building stupid strong legs. So I consider it a supplemental exercise in that case, because it will drive your squat and your bench press exponentially better if you do them versus if you don't do them. And I've kind of talked about this exercise in length in many of my videos, so I'm not going to go too crazy, but you want something you can put your foot on from the back side, load that up with dumbbells, barbell on your back, something interior loaded, all personal preference. Go as low as you can, feel that good quality stretch here, drive up through a whole foot position, maximizing using that leg in a single leg stance. Yes, stability can be a problem. However, if you do want to take the stability component out, you could actually hold on to a pole or a foam roller to give you some more balance so that you can load that up. However, usually then you gotta take one heavy freaking dumbbell on the other side. So just keep in mind that trying to load it up, sometimes just grabbing 2 heavy dumbbells or putting a barbell on your back is the way to go. I recommend doing exercises like this with a little bit higher repetitions than I normally would with these other movements. 2 to 4 sets of anywhere from 6 to 12 reps is going to be a great spot to be. All right, now we're going to move on to some of the pressing exercises that I like from a supplemental side. And the first one for the bench press is going to be the pin press. This, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated exercises to improve your bench press. The pin press is unique is that it's going to eliminate the stretch shortening cycle of the bench press, but we can also focus on certain areas or sticking points that we might be having during the press. So we can adjust the pins or the catches here in this case, either one works, to an area that I'm struggling to press from. So it's going to teach you how to stay rigidly tight, blow through sticking points, and improve dead stop strength. Now, initially you're gonna have a little bit of a hit that you're not gonna be able to lift as much weight. That's totally normal. And you're never going to be able to pin press as much as you can actually bench press. However, you will find as that gap closes from your pin press numbers to your bench press numbers, you're going to find that your bench press is going to skyrocket. You can use a variety of grips in different positions. My suggestion is to take the pin position and put it slightly lower than where you're having issues. Obviously, if you're having issues off the chest, then get as close to the chest as you can. But if you're in that mid-range area where you're constantly missing your bench press, put it a little bit lower so that you can focus on pressing through the sticking point. So you're just gonna get set up as you normally would in your normal bench press, and I've got this set basically right at my chest, and then I'm gonna take my normal grip here, stay nice and tight, and then press up, come down. Let it come to a complete stop, and keep everything else the same that you normally would during your normal bench press. So elbows underneath your wrists, leg drive, and come up, and then you can come down. The other nice thing is too, it's obviously super safe, right? You don't have to worry about having a spotter for an exercise like this. Now, because we're working on a dead stop position, I actually like this supplemental movement much heavier than I would a normal supplemental exercise. So I like doing this for anywhere from 1 to 3 reps normally, really making this pretty freaking heavy. Maybe leave a little bit in the tank, but you do want to make sure that you're getting maximum pushes every single time. If you do too many reps, you're gonna find that you're able to easily break it off the pins, but also you're not gonna let it come to a dead stop every single time. Like, let the weight completely come dead every single time, and you're also gonna find how tight and how good positionally you are when you bench press, when you pin press, because if you're not in the right position, that bar is not going anywhere. All right, the next exercise I love here is a push press. Now, while it doesn't necessarily improve your bench press strength, it's gonna definitely improve like your overhead press or an axle or a jerk, and it's a good way to load up the overhead pressing variation. It's also gonna build a relatively strong lockout as well. So you would just take your normal overhead press position in terms of how you hold the barbell here, and you're gonna get right underneath here your chest, walk out, and from here we're just gonna create a little dip. So all I'm gonna do is bend my knees, get my hips back, use that to thrust the barbell overhead, shoot my head through that window position there. So I'm getting a little bit of cheat to get about here, and then compress the rest of the way. So it's gonna let me handle more load. It's also gonna build more strength up here at the top. So if you're going to do a heavy overhead press, usually you're gonna find that once you get around here, trunk and mid-back and upper back strength can really suffer if you're not really handled those weights much. So you can build some confidence with those loads while you're also using that dip and drive technique from the push press. It's obviously to help your jerk and other things as well. Again, kind of like the pin press, you don't want to do crazy high reps here. Ideally, doing sets of 1 to 5 is probably a good sweet spot for anywhere from 2 to 5 sets. You can do these a little bit more explosively, or you can go really freaking heavy with them, as I mentioned, to get really confident with those heavier weights. So use this to drive your overhead press. Could potentially help your bench press, but it is a pressing variation that I do think it really improves your overall strength. All right, the final pressing exercise we're gonna talk about is a good old-fashioned dip. Now, I do know if you happen to have some kind of shoulder issues, this may not be the exercise for you, but this is overall just a really hard exercise to duplicate with almost any other kind of pressing variation. It's gonna build stupid strong chest and triceps, which is then gonna drive your bench press numbers or any other upper body pressing exercises that you happen to have. It's also very scalable. So, you know, you can just do a bunch of bodyweight exercises. You can put a band on here to assist you if you're not strong enough to do them. Or if you are super strong, you can grab a weight belt and load them up as needed to hit your desired set and rep ranges. So being scalable, being a bodyweight exercise, focusing on the chest and the triceps really heavy in a different ranges of motion, and bulletproofing the shoulders, as long as you have those ranges of motion, is a fantastic thing for your bench press or any pressing variation. And I really like the parallel bar ones because it's gonna hammer the triceps a little bit more, keep those elbows tucked in, get down there and drive up hard and strong, focusing on keeping that chest up as much as you can. You don't want to really lean forward here. That's where you're really gonna start to feel the issues here in the shoulder. If you keep your chest tall and own that position in that stretch position, you're probably going to be okay if you have no other issues. So how I like to use this exercise is, first, if I can, load it up. You can load this exercise up with weight, do so hard sets of 8 to 10 for 2 to 4 sets. You can also use it as finishers. At the end of your upper body day, just crank out as many possible reps as you can with body weight. And again, if you happen to struggle with dips, that's entirely okay. That lets you know that this is an exercise that you're gonna get high return on investment from as you get better at the exercise to improve your pressing strength. All right, now we're going to move into some top deadlift supplemental exercises, or things you can do to get stupid strong for your deadlift. And I would be a fool to not start with the Hex Bar or the Trap Bar Deadlift. Now, this exercise biases our leverages to putting the weight in the center of our body, which means we're going to be able to lift more weight. Plus, with a higher handle position, we also are at a better leverage and less range of motion to lift more weight. So this is a fantastic way to load up those hips and lower body, and it's almost a mix and a hybrid between a squat and a deadlift, but it is a deadlift nonetheless. And this is definitely one of my preferred methods to get athletes stupid strong, to aid them in their sports over to, say, maybe like a conventional deadlift. So not that hard. You stand in the barbell, you keep your chest tall, your arms long, reach, drive those hips through at the top. You're going to get a lot of hip drive from here trying to meet the bar. The pitfall of the conventional deadlift is with here, we don't have the optimal leverages to load that musculature up. Yes, we still lift the weight, but if we want to optimize and load that posterior chain, having this weight centered with us is giving us the best leverages to load that aspect of the movement. Now, being a deadlift, you can even just use this as a main movement for a couple sets and reps. I really don't like to go really high in my reps with my deadlifts, so usually 3 to 5 reps is the highest I want to go. Hard singles and doubles are fantastic, even as supplemental movements. And the great thing about most trap bars is you're going to have the low handle option as well. So if you really want to grow a pair, you just go to the lower side of the barbell, and that's going to give you a nice big range of motion. It is going to make it a little more squatty, but you are going to have to work on that leg drive to pick that weight up and then return back to the start position. So if you're really looking at proving your leg drive of your conventional deadlift, go with the low bar on the trap bar and see what that does for your deadlift. All right, another supplemental movement that I absolutely love to get stupid strong and improve your deadlift is the stiff leg deadlift. Now, This is a challenging deadlift variation that's going to be very strict and really try to focus on using our posterior chain. So a normal conventional deadlift, we're usually creating a bit of a push, but with the stiff leg, it's literally nothing but a pull. We're trying to pull that weight into position, keeping our back as flat as neutral as possible and torching the glutes and the hamstrings. So if your glutes and your hamstrings are struggling with your conventional deadlift, this is a great way to get stupid strong at those. So you're just gonna take your normal conventional stance. You can also do them sumo as well, okay? Most people are just gonna do them conventional. If you are a sumo deadlifter, you can do a sumo stiff leg deadlift as well. But get your normal conventional stance with your feet right underneath the barbell, and you're going to reach as long as you possibly can, hinge back, and actually let that barbell be a little bit more forward. Normally in like an RDL or something, that barbell's closed. With the stiff leg deadlift, we actually want a little bit of space here, and we're gonna deadlift that bar off the ground from that position. So notice my hips are stupid high. I'm really intentionally bent over. I'm trying to keep everything stacked here as possible, and then I'm going to wedge, pull, down, up, stop, reach. So I'm actually letting my shoulders round forward a little bit in this position, where a normal deadlift, I'm here, so you can see my knees are even pushed further back as I go to do that exercise. So this exercise works great for developing, again, the posterior chain aspect of your deadlift. I would recommend doing these for sets of 6 to 8 for 2 to 3 sets. You don't want to max this exercise out by any means, but you do want to make sure you push it relatively hard. Keep a couple reps in reserve, and you'll find your posterior chain strength is super strong and your deadlift numbers start to skyrocket. All right, exercise number 9 is going to be the Romanian deadlift, or the RDL. I've talked about this exercise a lot, especially as of late, but I do think it's a fantastic exercise for just about anybody. But it can drive up your deadlift numbers, and as a supplemental exercise you probably need to be doing a lot more of. So I'm not gonna put it in a rack, I'm being lazy. I'm doing a lot of filming right here, so I'm just knocking this out while I'm here doing my normal deadlifts. So the RDL from the stiff leg deadlifts, as we just talked about, this is way more hingy. The goal here is to really get those hips to push backwards with the RDL. With the stiff leg deadlift, we're actually kind of bending over a little bit more, and while my hips are going back a little bit, I don't have to actually push them back to get that position, because there's no way I'm going to get to the ground, especially with my hamstring mobility. But if I let things round a little bit and I come forward over my toes with my stiff leg deadlift, that's the main difference. So the RDL is usually also going to start with the eccentric first. Usually going to start from this top position. So, but like I said, I'm just going to deadlift it from the start position here, and then hinge back, chest tall, and drive those hips forward, okay? Whole foot contact, glutes meet the bar as I'm coming to the top. Now you don't need to like hyperextend or anything, just meet that bar here. And that's going to allow you to work on that transition around the knee of your deadlift, build the glutes and the hamstrings incredibly strong through hard eccentric loading. You're gonna learn how to yield, stop that weight down there. All those are gonna be doing great things for your deadlift. You can push these hard, 2 to 4 sets, anywhere from 6 to 10 repetitions, load that bad boy up. If you've not done them heavy for a long time, ease into them smart, because you are gonna be pretty freaking sore, but your deadlift will improve. All right, exercise number 10, last one on the list, is gonna be the bent over barbell row. This is gonna hit all 3 of those major movement patterns for the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift for the supplemental work. We're gonna be bent over in that position. Low back's gonna get stupid strong, upper back is gonna get strong from rowing. That's going to help us with our deadlift. Putting more meat on our upper back is going to help maintain our position as we go to bench press. And then having a bigger, broader back is going to give us a bigger shelf for our squat, which then can give us better force transfer from the ground all the way up into the bar as we go to stand up with those heavy weights. And then also, this exercise transfers into a lot of the other exercises we talked about, like the Zercher squat, the front squat, the stiff leg deadlift, the trap bar deadlift, right? This transfers into all those exercises. So this is why you probably be doing some kind of bent over row variation. So you're just gonna basically, like your RDL, go from that RDL position, bend down, boom, be explosive, and pull. You can have a little bit of momentum, but you don't want to get anything too crazy, probably what you're seeing at your local LA Fitness. Be bent over and statically own that position as you go to row. Your other option is to do the pin lay row, so consider this 10B. Own that position, but in your stiff leg position, and then row up. So really hinge back hard, reach, explosively pull. Again, the reason I only don't like this over the barbell row is that you're not able to use as much weight, but it can teach you much better position and to be able to explosively pull and fire those lats. So I recommend doing either one of these exercises, again, 2 to 4 sets, anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions. Push these suckers pretty freaking hard, but make sure you're staying in a good position as you do so. And so there you have it. There are my top 10 supplemental exercises to immediately improve your squat, your bench press, your deadlift, maybe even your overhead press. Just build a lot of stupid, strong strength. I'm willing to bet if you go find any beginner program, they're probably going to revolve around the squat, the bench press, and deadlift, and probably these variations that I just showed you today. But if you happen to be having issues with your squat, bench press, or deadlift, make sure you look back at these classic old lifts that people have used for a long time to drive their main movements. Implement them into your training program. You don't have to overthink them a whole lot. Put in a lot of hard work, make sure the weight's heavy, allow for general progression over the course of several weeks or months, and I guarantee you your main 3 lifts are gonna get stronger. If you happen to like today's video or you took something away, do me a favor, hit that like button, comment, share with friends, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next video.